The Cubs are 1.5 games back from the Pirates right now. Pirates currently in third place. Cubs also swept the Pirates last week to help the Pirates get to third place. Now, that was in Chicago. This is now in Pittsburgh. Pirates now have Henry Davis in the lineup, hopefully for 3 games. What do we think is going to, like, what do we make of this series upcoming?
The Cubs are a tough team to figure out because I think from like a pure talent standpoint, you look at the roster top to bottom and like it doesn't look bad. You know, like if you compare them to the rest of the division, you could argue that the Cubs on paper look better or at least just as good as anyone in this division. They're also so far this season, like they're in 4th place, but they're the only NL Central team with a positive run differential.
Right.
They're winners of 7 of their last 10. Again, the Pirates and the Brewers have really not been playing well, so the Cubs are still in this thing, just 4 games back of first place. What's going to happen this series? What do I take of the Cubs? I think, the Pirates definitely need to win some games. Like they can't keep losing. If they keep losing, they are going to be out of this relatively quickly, and they'll find themselves in the same position that the Cardinals are in within a week or two. So they really need they need the starting pitching. Like, and as I said, it all kind of comes back to that. Starting pitching has to go deeper into games. They've got to be more effective because the bullpen isn't what it was in April.
Exactly.
And the only way you're going to kind of protect that bullpen is by limiting the amount of innings that they throw.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we talked a little bit last night about the bullpen. It's depleted. And the thing that was leading to a lot of success for the Pirates was back in April, starters are going 6, even maybe 7 innings here and there. And that was helping mitigate the exposure of the bullpen. Because like even back then, like we talked about, I mean, there's Bednar and there's Holderman, and then it's like, who knows? Now Moretta has found a spot. Like there's been some guys that have stepped up and you feel pretty confident, like, you know, they're adequate enough, right? But now there is no Holderman. Some of those adequate pieces are also on the IL. So this bullpen, once again, is going to be exposed if they're needed, right? Like you said, like you have to go 6 innings. You have to, if not more. So a lot of it's going to be on the starting rotation for sure. Beto today, like what we're saying, I don't know if he's that guy. You know, we saw it even like last start where he had a solid start. I mean, he gave you basically the best that you could have hoped for, right?
Yep.
And it didn't go deep. Like that was the problem. That's kind of like what his problem will be. Like that's what you expect, you know? So like that's a big game today. You know, like is he going to be able to go deep, or is he going to give you like 4, like how Luis Ortiz last night went, right? If that happens, that's probably some trouble. Now again, I know it's not like the Cubs have like this great bullpen either. They have Drew Smiley, which the Pirates got to Drew Smiley last week, right? So like there's precedent there, like that can happen. But that's something the starters are definitely going to have to do. And I'm with you too, man. You know, like I feel like people talk so much trash on that tweet I put out like just a few weeks ago, by the way. But like the Cubs aren't this terrible team when you look at them on paper, and they were certainly struggling, and I think they're starting to come together as you see. Not that they're a great team by any means. Like no one in the NL Central is a great team. The Reds have the potential to become a good team, but no one is like a really good team in the NL Central. And I think, like you said, the Cubs fit right in with everyone else. You know, I'm not scared of the Cubs, but I'm certainly not looking at the Cubs and laughing. You know, and Marcus Stroman has put up a really good year. Like everyone pretty much that they signed put a good year. And we talked that Henry Davis is in the lineup for these next 3 games. Well, Cody Bellinger is going to be in the lineup for them now too, and he's having a good bounce back season as well for them. So like this is a pretty, you know, like you look overall, the pitching, the hitters, they're not great, but they're very adequate. They're okay everywhere. You know, there's some length in that lineup, especially now with Bellinger back. And you know how Ian Happ is going to dominate.
I don't even want to talk about Ian Happ. Like,
why not, Jim?
Just, he's basically the new Colton Wong, right? Like Colton Wong for the Cardinals. He's the Cubs version of Colton Wong. But no, going back to your point, the Cubs staff is I think better than people give it credit for. I think if especially if Jameson Taillon starts pitching the way that like you think he can pitch, that this team doesn't look too bad. To this series, the Pirates are going to be facing Drew Smyly, who, say what you will about Drew Smyly, he's not the greatest pitcher in the world, but he's been good enough to have this is what, year 8, 9 for Drew Smyly in the majors, and he's been incredibly effective his entire career. Like he's not going to win you any ERA titles. He's not going to be competing for Cy Youngs, but Drew Smyly is someone where all 30 major league teams would welcome a Drew Smyly in their rotation.
I know there's been plenty of off seasons where, and again, of course, going back before you were even on here, that we mentioned of a Drew Smyly signing, like especially that 1 year he was injured. Let's give him the 2-year, $8 or $9 million deal, right? Have him recover the first year and then get him on for the second year. Yeah, Drew Smyly's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's been sub 3.6 ERA 3 out of the last 4 years. Like the guy is a very solid major league starter. So he's got the game 1 start. Game 2 start is Marcus Stroman. We just talked about him. He's having a really good season. He's just a really good pitcher overall. Throughout his career, he's been good. He's been an all-star. He's going to get paid a lot of money this offseason. Marcus Stroman's a good pitcher. And then Wednesday, it's Kyle Hendricks, who, again, isn't the Kyle Hendricks of old, but still a very serviceable pitcher. He's not too far off winning an ERA title. He's, like I said, these are professional pitchers that the Cubs have on their roster. And I think if you were to say, which staff would you rather have right now? You would take the Cubs staff over the Pirate staff all day. They're just much more reliable. With that being said, the Pirates, Beto on the mound. You mentioned like last start out, probably the results that you got from him, you take that 10 out of 10 times. You still want to see more length though. Like I would almost rather him go 6 innings and give up 3 than go 4 and give up 1. Maybe not. But like the fact remains, like you need to get innings out of him.
No, that's fair. Because if he only goes 4, there's very, very good likelihood that those next 2 innings, 5 are given up. So 6 and 3 isn't really too bad. I'm kind of with you on that.
Oh, if he gives you 6 and 3, like you are ecstatic. Yeah.
Right.
So I think right now you're taking any Beto start though that's not a blow up. Like if he's going to give you a start that isn't a blow up, you take that from him.
And I guess just one of the add to that too is, like you said, like how last start, that's what you would take from him, right? From a Beto start, that's what you'll take. And that's just what it is. Like even if it goes 4, like this is the same thing today, right? Like I will take that because of Beto, right? But that's just the problem that we're at. It's because it is Beto, right? For the team that's still not good to have. You need more from the team. But the problem is it is Beto in the line or the rotation. And for a Beto start, that is what you'll take. That's just the nature of like where this team is at right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so I mean Beto going game 1, Oviedo going game 2, who again probably out of and Beto did the same thing last time out, went 4 1/3. He's been going deeper into games. Beto.
Bucko Mike just made a comment and ruined my morning. It's over. I said nothing can ruin Henry Davis Day.
But to kind of talk about that, like I think if you can get your goal here is to get 6 innings out of Beto and whoever the first guy in the bat of the bullpen is. If you can get like 6 solid innings out of Beto and then somebody else, that's a win. That's a win. And then you hand it over to whoever your 7th and 8th inning guys are now. Is Carmen Majinski your number 3 guy out of the bullpen? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So, that's kind of where I'm at right now. if they're gonna like have somebody kind of piggyback with them, like get through 6. If Beto and then one other guy can get through 6, that's a win. That's a win.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just really nervous right now because I'm trying to really, really think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it Perdomo? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I might be feeling Baczynski. Oh, Johan Ramirez. Johan. Yeah, that's good. Well, we know Moretta, but Moretta is probably like your 8th man right now. 8th inning guy.
Yeah, Moretta's like the number 2 guy you can count on at this point.
Yeah. So Ramirez makes a lot of sense. I feel pretty comfortable with Ramirez.
Ramirez
and then
bad
I think
the last
Baczynski.
a couple times out.
Yeah, but you want to go through the alternatives?
No, I mean,
talking about bad the last few times.
That's where we're at. That's where we're
Right.
at. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How about Johan in the 7th and me in the 8th?
That might be it. That's the play. No one's expecting Jim Rosati on the mound in the 8th. You're gonna
you don't want
them
me.
all.
I've got a torn bicep. The last time I pitched, tore my bicep, never got it fixed. You don't want me pitching out there. Be like a Nick Birdie situation where throw a ball and then just be writhing on the ground in pain. It'd be bad.
The only time you and Nick Birdie on a mound are comparable.
Yes. Me and Nick Birdie, very similar.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But anyways, yeah. So like you said, I guess I will take that from a Beto start, like you mentioned. That's probably the success. Yeah. I want to see 6 innings. You kind of need the 6 innings, but again, you realize it's Beto, so we'll see what happens. What about tomorrow's game?
Yeah, again, that's Oviedo versus Stroman, and like I said, going back to the original point, like Oviedo is just going to have to go deeper into games. If he can give you 6, pitch into the 7th, that's what you're looking for out of Oviedo. The stuff has looked really good all season long. It's consistency with him. It's like, can you do it day in and day out?
Especially that first inning.
Especially the first inning, yeah. And he hasn't really shown that he hasn't really shown any sort of consistency. Like he put together a pretty decent stretch in May, like towards the end of May. But now we're back to June, and like I said, last time out, not all that great. But we need to get him back to that stretch of he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 starts where he went at 5 out of those 6 starts. He went at least 5 innings. Need that out of him. Yeah, at least 5 out of him.
And again, because it's Marcus Stroman, and by no means am I like saying he is this, but like he has a legit reason to be in a conversation for Cy Young. Like that's the type of season he's having. You know, it's a very strong season.
I mean, if you look at Stroman's season and you put it up against like Mitch Keller's, like people are like, we're really excited about Mitch Keller and the season that he's having, but you know, Stroman doesn't have the strikeout numbers that Keller has. But as far as from just a pure result standpoint, yeah, he's been pretty good. The Cubs have won 6 straight Marcus Stroman starts.
Yeah, there you go. But again, he's pitching 91.2 innings, 2.45 ERA. That's the game you kind of have to steal. Like that's how you look at it. Like that's the game you got to steal. The first game you've already gotten to Drew Smyly last week. It's Speedo. Understand that's a game you can win. Not saying you can't win the second one, and we'll get to the Hendricks one too. But like that's a game where if you can steal that, that's huge.
Yep.
And then I guess to Kyle Hendricks. Even though Tyler can take him deep, and we understand that, and Tyler unfortunately is not signed to a 1-day contract for that game. Hendricks is back. 5 starts, 28.1 innings, 3.18 ERA. Like as you mentioned, like he's kind of doing Kyle Hendricks stuff. He's not the same guy. He was never a hard thrower, right? He hits his spot. He's a good pitcher.
He's just a good pitcher, yeah.
He's had some, off seasons, but so far this year, it's kind of the middle. It's a solid. It's an okay Kyle Hendricks. And so again, like to me, like that's a winnable game as well.
But yeah, I mean, he's definitely not the Kyle Hendricks of old, but he is a good pitcher. So again, like they're going to need the starting pitching to step up this series if they want to win. Because I don't foresee like huge offensive outbursts in really any of these games. But these are games that you can win 5-4, 6-5, 6-4. Like these are those types of games. But they're gonna have to score and execute like with runners in scoring position that they haven't, which they haven't been able to do lately. And they have to get quality innings out of their starting pitching.
Yep. That's it. And I'm with you. Like you just can't bank on this offense. Now, will that change? Can it change? Potentially. Can Henry Davis add to that? Potentially. But you're right. Like this offense is giving you like 2 or 3 runs a game. That's basically it. So if Henry Davis can add and make it 3-4, then maybe you win some 4-3 here, right? That's what you kind of need. So yeah, but I don't know, man. Like again, it's winnable, but like that's what this division is right now. It's a lot of mediocrity. They're pretty much all stacked up like equally. Everyone has their problems. But of course, the Reds are the ones that probably have, I don't want to say sky high ceiling, but they certainly have the ceiling to be a good team to run away with this division. And now's certainly the time. Like if you really are serious about this division, if you're really serious about this year, you kind of got to get serious because, like you said, there's 4 teams, and within a week, we saw it already right now. Like within a week's time, this division could just be completely shaken up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a week since the last time we did this show, and
right,
the division looks a lot different today than it did last Monday.
Right. Yep. So like I talked a little bit about the Reds and Cubs are coming, and they're here. This is it. The Reds already have passed the Pirates in the standings. This series could shake this up even more, especially for the Pirates. And right, like this isn't a bad team. And again, like I know a lot of people are like trolling the Cubs and such, and we're kind of seeing like it probably was a bad start. Things are coming together now for them too, and they're right there in the mix again. And we know they'll spend money.
Yeah, I mean the Cubs more than anybody at the deadline, and they've also got like if they want to just really fast forward their rebuild process, the Cubs have the prospect capital to trade to at the deadline, so they could get better if they need to. The Reds too. I mean, really everybody in this team has the capability to get better at the deadline, depending on how much they want to get better.
Well, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.